Let's go.
Yo, what up, Avengers? Welcome back to another live episode of Mental Theater. We have Chloé in the building, the king of content, Cowboy in the building.
What's going on?
Nate Dizzle filling in for Big Mike. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Hey.
What's up, Nate?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, okay.
And I just have to say, as a content creator, speaking to other content creators, I appreciate everyone's background and backdrop looking real professional here. I like this.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I was on somebody's show, not on the show, but I was in the comments and I jumped in. They was like, "Man, Anthony, how many different shows you gonna do, man?" He was like, "You are the king," and I was like, "Ooh, king of content." And let me spell it with a K since Mortal Kombat just came out, and it just something I've been running with for the less than a week now, or maybe a week. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna run with this. So it's like a hub of all of my stuff. And I was like, let me pull like all the different things. And obviously it's so much more that I don't have on here. So it's kind of cool.
You should be the cowboy of content.
Oh. And then you can bring it back to the Sea World. Chloé with the C's. I see you.
Yeah, right.
All right, guys. So our first topic, which is interesting, comes from Miss Lupita Luongo, who recently made the comments about what direction they're going to go in Black Panther 2. So for those who don't know, let me get the comments up for everyone, because she was asked how they're going to proceed. As I'm sure we're all wondering, some of us might be on the side of recasting for T'Challa's role specifically to remain Black Panther. Some people are interested in seeing someone perhaps like Shuri or Nakia, who Lupita Luongo plays, to be the Black Panther, or perhaps Killmonger or M'Baku, whoever, right? So it's a very interesting time for the Black Panther franchise. Let me get it up for everybody.
Yeah, I was listening to you guys. It was cool. I was watching the episodes I watched 2 of your episodes back to back, pretty much in 2 days in a row. And I was sitting at work. As I'm at work, I'm listening. And Chloé, you was killing me. You guys was going back and forth. But I love the enthusiasm. I love everybody has a perspective. And so I was like, man, I was agree with Chloé on a lot of stuff, and I was agreeing with Josh and some stuff. Now that's why I was writing as I watch you guys all the comments. But I didn't get a chance to speak on it. Could I just give my thoughts real quick?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I personally am probably one of the people that if a year ago you said, hey, recast Black Panther, everybody was like, what? They'd have been mad. So I was shocked to see people want him to be recast. I was like, oh wow, because I thought people were so into him and all of what he did. Again, when he passed away, it was a big deal. So when Mike posted it in the chat like a while ago, and I just thought for sure, I was like, what? Who? I didn't even see that it was like 5,000 people that petitioning or whatever. So I was just like, the fans aren't going to want that. And then I seen Chloé fighting so hard for it. I was like, that's shocking. Because again, a year ago or how many months ago, people would be like, no, they don't want to see him recast it. So I'm shocked. But me personally, I don't want to see him recast it. I say just make a different character, like make somebody else get the mantle. That's what I say.
Well, we've been watching the Avengers cartoon, and T'Challa does a lot of stuff. So I just don't think he should just get one movie role and be done. Because he's a huge character in the Avengers comic.
You know what? And it was cool because I listened to you guys, and I just feel like I don't want this to be another Batman, right? I think what it drives me crazy is how many times DC changed Batman. And what I don't want is if they redo something, then change them, right? But I know you was talking about Dumbledore, but he wasn't the main character. So okay, whatever. But don't change the main character, like you guys mentioned Spartacus. Man, I hated it when Andy passed away. I was like, and this is cool because it's so fresh in my head because I just listened. I was just watching it at work like yesterday or the day before or 2 days ago. But yeah, Spartacus is still my all-time favorite ever show, right? And when Andy passed away, I was like, oh man. And then they recasted him. I was never able to look at it the same way. I almost felt like it wasn't the same show. I felt like this was like a sideshow. It was kind of hard. But so that's just me because that movie was so successful as a Marvel movie, and I just feel like, you know what, just rewrite it and have his sister take over. Have like you guys Killmonger. Let somebody else take over the mantle, but don't make a new character. Because here's the thing, Chloe, I hear what you're saying that you want the character to live, but if that guy sucked, it's gonna be bad, man. Like I'm not saying the new guy that took over Spartacus sucked, but he looked so different. I just couldn't watch this and keep thinking he's supposed to be Spartacus. They didn't even look alike. Like, dude was taller than him. It just was like, this isn't Spartacus for me. This is like Spartacus 2.0, but this isn't the same thing. And it was hard to believe that. So I'm scared, Chloe, that the same thing might happen to Black Panther. And it was such a success, even for Black people. Like, people loved Black Panther. I feel like let it be one and done. Let it go down in history as like, you'll be telling your kids, man, my favorite Black superhero was Black Panther. That movie was on point. It was great. The dude who played him was amazing. I could never see him recast. That's just, I feel like, don't mess it up, man. Don't mess it up. But we'll see.
So no. See, my thing about it not being recasted, is that it seems like it's a cultural thing, you know, because even earlier in Marvel, well, I don't know if you still want to consider it Marvel or not, but Eric Bana, is his name Eric Bana? Who played played the Hulk.
Yeah.
Like they changed it, and so it was part of the it changed from him to Ed Norton, right?
Yeah, but that wasn't. So I'm a huge Hulk fan. That wasn't the MCU at all. Eric Banner is part of the MCU. So yeah. So say Eric Banner changed to Mark Ruffalo. That's accurate. But Eric Banner changing to Edward Norton isn't the same thing. But yeah, so we could still go down that road. So yeah, they did change Edward Norton. They recasted him with Mark Ruffalo. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's still they changed someone in DC, and no one really had an issue about it. Doctor Who has been doing that forever,
right?
And it's still going. It's still changing. It recently changed from a man to a woman, and that caused more issues than him changing from one guy to another. To me, it feels like it's a cultural thing. Like Black people were like, okay, we have a good superhero movie, and now don't want it to change because we want to stick with what you know. Stick with what you know. It could still be keeping him as T'Challa and changing him to a different actor. It's not going to take away from really anything. It's not saying that oh geez, I can't remember his name.
Chadwick.
Blank. Thank you. It's not saying that Chadwick wasn't good. It's not saying that at all. It's just it's a good actor. I mean, a good.
So Nate, I think the issue is that they already said that they was gonna make it be what's her Shuri, right? So that was like the big rumor to reveal. But people are petitioning to recast him. So if they already said we're gonna recast him, then recast him. But I think if they already had a plan to make Shuri the new Black Panther and write him out, I say stick with that. So because my thing is the whole culture thing isn't really my thing. I thought it would have been for Chloe because Chloe is more on the that. So I was shocked when she wanted to recast. But me personally, listen, if that was your plan, then go with the plan. But because they had a plan to make it Shuri, and now people are petitioning, I say just let it still be Shuri. Because if you recast him and the guy doesn't pull it off, like with Spartacus, it's like, man, you already planned on going like, all right, for instance, Spartacus had in the story of Spartacus, it was a guy named Gannicus. He was supposed to be the first slave that ever fought and won and got out. So when
the black
Andy,
dude?
huh?
Was that the black dude?
No,
in the
no,
show?
that's the black dude was Animaeus. So
Okay.
which he was my favorite character. But Gannicus was the guy that was the guy in the story. They never ever showed him in Spartacus that he was the only slave that ever got freed. So when Andy, which is the real guy's name, when he had cancer, they figured, you know what, let's pause the show, and then we're gonna actually make a mini series about Gannicus, which was amazing, right? Andy beat cancer. So they decided, okay, let's bring back Spartacus, and then Andy ended up dying. And so then they decided to recast it because it was like in the middle of, so
production, absolutely. And
right.
And thank you guys, because I appreciate that, because we haven't heard your opinion on the show, so we definitely wanted to hear that, and we appreciate that. And I just wanted to shout out everyone in the comments so far. So we have Mr. Urban World speaking Espanol. Que pasa, Holmes? Okay.
Oh, there it is.
Big Mike is in the building. What up, Big Mike? Shouting out the bro. And Mike also said, I love the Avengers cartoon. I agree. I love that Black Panther interacts with the Avengers, even in the US, so much on the cartoon. I wish they did that in the movies more. I agree. And if you recast, you have the opportunity to do that, because we all see how much he was always at the mansion as opposed to Wakanda, which is interesting because his movie representation is he's a separatist in Wakanda. So the fact that the cartoon is completely opposite, I thought it would be a great character development arc to see him go from someone who's a separatist in Wakanda to be living in some place like Avengers Mansion. And Mr. Urban World says that they should have left Blade alone. I don't know, because I think that actor will do a phenomenal job.
Yeah,
absolutely.
See,
what up, my bro? And before you get there, Tony, let me just read Lupita's comments real quick.
Yep. Sorry.
For those who are listening. And this is Lupita Luongo when talking about Black Panther 2 and her role in that, and talking about Ryan Coogler's idea. So, and his idea, the way which he has reshaped the second movie, talking about Black Panther 2, is so respectful of the loss we've all experienced as a cast and as a world. So it feels spiritually and emotionally correct to do this. And hopefully, what I do look forward to is getting back together and honoring what he started with us and holding his light through it, because he left us a lot of light that we're still going to be bathing in. I know that for sure. So apparently, Ryan Coogler, he reshaped the film to include, I guess, a on-screen farewell to Chadwick, probably similar to the Fast and Furious with Paul Walker, probably something similar to that. What were you going to say, Tony?
No, I was just going to say to the Mr. Urban World thing, I think Blade is different. Blade isn't considered in the MCU, so we can have a new Blade. That's why that's different.
Wait, so you only are against recasting for MCU?
No, I'm against recasting.
That's what I heard.
I'm against recasting a main character in a movie. The main character. If the movie ended and the movie was all done, right? Because like Spartacus, he passed away in the middle of shooting. So it's just like the Crow back in the day. The Crow was the main character. He died on the set, so they continued the movie and did what they could. I'm okay with that. But if you already had the Crow Part 1, which people loved, right? It was a quote classic, and then he died offset, whatever, then just leave it at that, because I kind of don't want to see a different person recast it. That I'm kind of like that, But I guess a big character, I mean, the Black Panther, I guess I gotta understand that he is a bigger character than when I was growing up. Like, for instance, the Hulk, obviously I wouldn't. So now here's why I'm being biased. If you guys said, well, then Edward Norton didn't want to be a part of it no more, or whatever, they had bad blood, then we should have never recast the Hulk, and then you'll never have Hulk in the MCU. I'd have been like, ooh, I can't see the MCU without the Hulk, right? So, then I guess, yeah, we'll have to deal with Mark Ruffalo. But that's just my opinion. It doesn't matter cultural or anything. It's just that if you finish the movie and then for whatever reason the guy had to step away, the main character, I feel like don't recast him, do something else. But Black Panther is a prominent character now. He's in the MCU, so I see why people want to continue to see his character. Maybe it's just maybe for me, I'm like, I can have a female Black Panther, whatever. But maybe for some people, it's like, what? So I get both sides.
You wanna hop in there?
So what I'm hearing you say is Wesley Snipes should not have been recast as the new Blade.
If Blade Part 1 came out and Wesley Snipes died, then I would have been cool with just having that one movie because it was really epic.
Isn't dead, and they still didn't choose him. I mean, we can
no, that's not.
He's too old now.
No,
he's not. He just did Coming to America. He was doing all those moves.
No, Blade isn't a part of the MCU. The original Blade isn't a part of the MCU, so he's not being recasted in the sense of that's the same trilogy. Like this is going to be a whole new story. This is restarted over. It's not the same thing. Yeah,
But I still don't think he's too old. They could do CGI on his face.
Well, yeah, that's the technology that Disney and Marvel and Lucasfilm has, the rejuvenating or de-aging tech.
Like they did with Tony Stark and the Avengers.
Exactly.
Like they did with Luke
Skywalker and Mandalorian. Thank you, Chloe.
Oh God, I hate it.
Or look at what was it called? Genesis Man or with Will Smith?
Oh yeah, Gemini Man.
Gemini Man.
Yeah, that we gotta definitely see that as well. And just to shout out the comments, Mr. Urban World says, well, Blade is in the MCU now, and fans are still upset about the new Blade because it's still the same series, to be honest. It's just that Disney owns the right to Marvel now. And Big Mike says, I would have been okay with doing it by Black Panther 3. I agree to have some time, not too soon. And Stated Pro Gamer says, in my personal opinion, I think they should bring another strong female warrior to take Chad's place. So maybe Okoye or Nakia. And so I wanted to ask everyone's opinion. If you're not going to have Chadwick or another person be recasted, who would you want as the next Black Panther? So we have people like M'Baku, Nakia, Okoye, Shuri, and of course, Killmonger. I'm going for Killmonger, but I'm curious what everyone else thinks.
If I had my way, I'm going with Killmonger. It just makes so much sense.
Yeah.
That they could tie that in so good. I mean, technically, he was the Black Panther because he did beat him.
He didn't really. I mean, we don't know if he died. You don't know if someone dies until you see them. Like,
right?
I got to rewatch it because I thought he was killed at the end.
Fell off the cliff, but we don't know if he survived.
Whoa!
Yeah, Bucky fell off the cliff too. So that's true. Yeah. Oh, Bucky fell off a moving train.
Yeah, in comic books, you're never dead.
Yeah.
And Big Mike says what Anthony's saying is that when you restart a story, it's okay to recast, but not in the middle of an ongoing story. And yeah, I completely. But I guess that's my argument for things like James Bond and Batman, because when you start the story, you have a new vision with Robert Pattinson being the new Batman under Matt Reeves. That's is going in a different direction than the Ben Affleck, even though Snyder Cut was amazing.
Yeah, but to be fair, that's not supposed to be like the same Batman, right? That's like they do like so in DC they do like trilogies. Like, hey, I'm gonna give you my trilogy of what Batman would be like to me, and then you do your trilogy, and then you could have the Joker but recast it with somebody else, and then now, we're not gonna do the Joker in my Batman, we're gonna do the Penguin in my Batman. So that's different. But Marvel is one continuous thing where everything's supposed to be the same. And in the same universe.
But people die. So then if someone dies, especially we in a pandemic right now, so who knows? And, you feel me? Like somebody can get it. So it's just like, what are you gonna say? Oh, well, he did. So this whole Black Panther.
I mean, again, I agree with you. I'm just like two things, and I'll just say this. One, I guess I'm not the biggest Black Panther fan, so I'm like, one movie would be good enough. Give me make one of the girls take over, whatever. Again, I'm being biased because if it was the Hulk, if Edward Norton died, again, Edward Norton left and they recast. I still need the Hulk, even though technically they really didn't give me the Hulk because he's not in the movies anymore. But
last time I seen him on screen,
he got ripped.
But I agree with you. Like, I don't want them to just
silence.
Yeah, I think Tony still has PTSD from that Thanos whipping. And
right? I was trying to act like that didn't happen.
Sorry.
Yeah, right. Don't know how to spell it, but Shuri, she could be the Panther with the tech like Batman. I understand that. Like, I understand Shuri was basically Black Panther or T'Challa's unofficial Alfred / Robin with the tech and being somewhat of a sidekick. We saw at the end of the film. Spoiler alert: she has her own weapons that she uses with vibranium, so she's capable as well. But
guns, right?
But again, I don't know if I would. Of course, she would need to take the purple herb, in order to get the power of the Black Panther, and she does have the lineage and her DNA,
right?
Because she's part of the Panther tribe, as is Killmonger. This is why I would have Killmonger, and then Shuri can be his sidekick type of thing.
Now, without us going into what we think and all this stuff, but the comic books, because again, I'm sure they don't want to really get the fans really upset, because we're fans and we're just make believing. What if we did this and that? But if they followed the comic book, then it would be Shuri, right?
Absolutely, and as Big Mike said, what makes it work is what Shuri and others were a Black Panther in the comics. So there's definitely precedent, which is why we talked about this on Mental Theater months ago, because the rumor was, as Tony Stark Jr. brought up, that it was Shuri who was going to take the mantle eventually. And then, as we talked about in our tribute to Chadwick of his passing, it seems as if Kevin Feige, who is aware of Chadwick's condition, probably knew that as well. So we have the precedent in the comics for Shuri to take over. Shuri is literally manifesting all of these weapons and technology. She's her own version. She's a comparable version of Tony Stark as Tony Stark Sr. in terms of her ability with technology. And I just wish there was a scene with them together, so you can actually see how great she is in the lab. I think that would be amazing. Obviously, we can't get it now for continuity reasons, but again, Shuri I think would be a great superhero. But I still think Black Panther should have its own type of mantle. Like, you're not gonna, kind of like the new Batman video game that's coming out, Arkham Knights. You can have Red Wing, you can have Robin, you can have Batwoman and all that, but you still need Batman, if that makes sense.
I mean, you guys had an awesome debate about this. I was listening, like, wow, about Mike. I'm gonna mess with Mike because he's not on here. His lack of understanding a mantle is a mantle, or as I was writing it, his lack of understanding what a position is. Like him and I talked about this on the Big Mike and Little Ant. And the conversation didn't go as long as him and Chloe, because I was able to kind of shut him down a little bit. I said, so the president is no longer the president. So is the next person not the president? They are. That's just a title. So Captain America is a title, because he was like, well, I don't like him calling him Cap. Well, Cap is a nickname for captain. So I could be on a sailor ship and you call me, what's up, Cap? Because I'm the captain. That's the same thing. So so the Black Panther, remember, people they in the movie they battled to see who was going to be the next Black Panther.
That's actually a great point, because also in the comics, Captain Marvel actually outranked Captain, because she actually got her promotion, and I think Sam might actually outrank Captain as well. Captain America, because he's
it's a position. It's a position.
I have no idea how he's still captain and not admiral at this point. But
well, I think the name, it's cliche. So obviously in the comic books, but that's your position. He's Captain America. Yeah. I think the show does a good job of now bringing to light that, because if you just watch the movies, you figure like there's only one Captain America, like that's the name of his superhero, right? Mm-hmm. But the show brought to light that no, Captain America is a position for America. Like there can be another Captain America, like Chloe was trying to hit at,
Absolutely. And Nate, what were you about to say?
Last week, or the day when I said, sorry. I'm just trying to respond to you guys, and my wife just texted me. So I just threw off my whole thought process. I made a comment about Captain America being a title, just like Dread Pirate Roberts. And you were like, oh, who's Dread Pirate Roberts? I just wanted to say that is from the movie The Princess Bride. Josh, you know what I'm talking about?
That's the one with Anne Hathaway, right?
That's the one with Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant, yeah. Like the Dread Pirate Roberts. It's just there's a pirate who kidnapped people or did whatever, and then he kidnapped or he rescued this guy Wesley and helped him get his life back together. And then he said, he was like, okay, I'm done. I want to retire. You're the new Dread Pirate Roberts. So it's just,
yeah,
that's all I was trying to say. It was a title and just that particular name, the Dread Pirate Roberts. I can't even say it straight.
Oh yeah, I understand. It's kind of like a pimp name slip back. You got to say the whole thing. Absolutely.
Exactly.
And then Big Mike also said, but if I had to choose, I would say M'Baku. That's interesting. And I would actually be curious to see what M'Baku looks like after the herb. Whoever's chosen, they have to take the herb or it's never going to work. I'm never going to take it, man, at all.
M'Baku's too big.
Yeah.
He can't. I don't see a big dude like that doing all the flips and all that stuff.
But if you have the herb, which is part of the component of the super serum, it makes it more tangible to me.
Yeah, I think what we're both saying is even his physical presence, like his look, he just don't. So I think, and like Mike felt like Captain America is Steve Rogers, right? And so sometimes you look at a certain person and you can't picture him different. Like everybody had a problem with the fat Thor, right? It was like, wait, you just don't see Thor like that, right? So I don't see even whoever becomes the Black Panther, they gotta be agile. Like I feel like, dude, he's the black, like he will be the black, I don't know, whatever. Let me not get into that. But he's just too big of a dude for me.
And then
visually.
And Killmonger, Hulk. Yeah, Hulk jumping around doing backflips and stuff.
They do call him the Great Gorilla. And Killmonger's death and the last speech to me was so hard hitting. If he came back, it makes sense and less impactful to me. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. And Captain America was never his army rank. Well, he said it was that in the cartoon, so I don't know how accurate it is comic wise. I understand mantles, Tony. Obviously, I know what a president is. And what do you eat in Mr. Urban World? Hopefully it's something alkaline, sir, since you all about your alkalinity, you know. But yeah, guys, so it'll be interesting to see what they do, what direction they go with, and how the fans respond, because usually Marvel tends to make the best decisions to make the fans not only happy, not for fan service, but to be satisfied with the story arc. So I would have to agree with John Campy here, because they're doing it out of respect, they're doing it out of appreciation, and they're doing it in terms of continuity with their MCU universe that they're building. So again, they've proven with all the films and content they've done already that they deserve some latitude, right? Get and give them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to make the right decision when it hits the silver screen. So we'll see what happens.
I'm real quick. I'm only really totally upset with one thing. I mean, the way they handled the Hulk and both Infinity War and Endgame is just a travesty to movie history. Me personally, Endgame could have been like the greatest movie I've ever seen, but I had to knock it down to a 9 because you got a Marvel universe and you don't have the Hulk. And he didn't listen, guys. I'm not griping about him beating Thanos, losing to Thanos. That's cool. But you could have had him beat the heck out some soldiers just to get a Hulk moment. All right, I'm done.
So you like the Hulk?
Yeah, my favorite comic.
Matter of fact, okay. I'm gonna ask you a question. I already know the answer. I just want everyone else to know the answer. What is your Hulk's on Marvel's Avengers? What is his power level? What rating is he at now?
He was the first character I maxed out at 150. Josh, by the way, this Thursday, more new content is coming. They got a whole Black Widow event coming starting this Thursday. Nice. Where they're gonna add the MCU costume of Black Widow this Thursday, and then they're gonna have a whole new story arc of Black Widow. So.
By the way, we are planning a Mental Theater Marvel's Avengers video game stream. If Nate Dizzle, you want to get on that as well. So I've just reached the part. So spoiler alert. Sorry for those who haven't finished, because I just got to this part where Captain America was on the moon. So luckily Tony didn't spoil it for me in the comments.
So what's cool is you got there. So now you know when they said it in the show, and I was like, oh,
exactly, that makes sense. See,
yeah.
But again, I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that continuity, and I'm excited for the Black Panther edition in the summer that's coming. So I think it'll be good to have a great streaming with that. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
So I have a question about that because you brought up games. One, what console are you playing on? And two, is it crossplay?
PS4, but we also have the Stadia crossplay advantage right there.
So the cool thing is, I know you're an Xbox guy, Nate, and actually, I gotta talk to you. We're actually looking for an Xbox guy, and I forgot all about you. After the show, you and I need to talk.
Yes, please do. Yes.
Oh my God, we're actually missing an Xbox. We got a PlayStation channel. We gotta talk. I had an Xbox guy, and anyway, we'll talk. But yeah, unfortunately though, they're not. The crossplay is
great.
So we can't play together.
Crossplay what now?
We can't play together yet. But we can still do some type of something where somebody plays and somebody plays, whatever. But I guess we'll figure that out.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I still have PlayStation 4, planning on getting the PS5 probably later, probably closer to the Christmas time when they come out with more games.
They just made
stop my camera for a second.
I saw that too, yeah.
Yeah, so if you bought the PS5 before, you probably had some words. You're never supposed to get anything brand new, though.
I agree. I always wait for the second or third batch. And Big Mike says, but he was that for 80 years. It's different. If you watch Civil War, when Sam brought Ant-Man to meet Cap, it's almost like he was meeting a god. Remember, Coulson was trading cards, and Cap senses his boy. Absolutely, because again, remember in the MCU, Captain America is part of American history. So part of World War II is Captain America leading the charge. So imagine, again, you don't have the Uncle Sam, I want you to enlist. It's Captain America saying, I want you to enlist. So it has a different magnitude.
Yeah. And it would be the same thing as if we had the same president for 80 years, and then he stepped down, we got a new one. You would feel the same way, but at the end of the day, the position is the president, you know? You would be like, man, he's just not, it's like the Black Panther. We're so into Chadwick, right? We can't really see somebody else doing it, but technically they can recast him because at the end of the day, it's just a character. It's the same.
Well, we were talking about recasting T'Challa.
Right.
We weren't talking about necessarily like recasting the Black Panther per se. So, like for instance, let's say the Black Panther mantle gets passed on, and then the third movie they recast T'Challa, he comes back somehow. That's what the question was. That's what we were talking about.
Yes. Yep. Go ahead, Tony.
No. I will explain it again. You're talking about what?
We were talking about recasting T'Challa, not like recasting the Black Panther.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. They just the actor. You just want to recast the actor. Yeah.
Right. This, as you said, the same way they did Spartacus, because unfortunately the lead actor has passed away. So it's just one of those things. And I agree with a lot of people when they say how, you know, T'Challa has a specific story arc in the comics. So I think that story should be told because we only get half of that story. Really. That's true. So it's kind of like how we're getting multiple arcs with characters like Thor. He had his original arc before Endgame. Now he's gonna have his arc after Endgame, and I feel like T'Challa because again, when you have T'Challa, then you get to have more characters like Shuri and Nakia and Okoye and M'Baku. And see the significance of their roles as well. And
let me ask you this, Josh. What if they write it off as he didn't die, right? And for whatever reason, Shuri took over, right? And then Black Panther 3, they recast him and bring him in. So you had some time a little bit to kind of like let things settle. It's not like, man, he just passed away a year ago and, you know, let things settle. And then he comes back and they recast him.
Yeah, see, that to me, that is being respectful. That is honoring the legacy, and I think you might be onto something. So we might have another prophet, as you saw in the previous show. We had a lot of prophets the last show, so you might be joining that ilk right there. And of course, Mr. Urban World is attempting to troll you here. Yeah, the Hulk was horrible, and Sam doesn't have that aura to me, and not yet, because that aura is earned.
It's earned. Yes.
But with that speech, the speech is the speech and the actions without the super serum. I think is gonna cultivate people potentially more. You never know. And Mr. Urban Rose said he played Marvel's Avengers on PS4 and now via cloud. And Big Mike said, with the recast of Child, the actor would have to be great because Chadwick comparison would never end. Absolutely. But again, this is why we have to trust Kevin Feige and the people at Marvel and we understand their casting process. They're always going to be casting people who have been at minimum nominated for a Golden Globe or Academy Award. So they're going to have the acting chops already. They're going to pick the right person to fit their ethos in terms of the work culture that they have at Marvel, that family unit. So again, they've been doing it for over a decade.
Here's a question: Have they cast a main character wrong yet? That's the question.
Maybe the Wasp. I'm not really.
No.
See, I don't even look at her as a main character, but I guess if there's any fans of Ant-Man, maybe they could.
I just don't look right now.
But I think they've been doing a hell of a job, man.
I agree. And Jennifer Hall says Chadwick Boseman would have hated for Black Panther to end with him. I agree with that. You got to keep the legacy going. You got to keep it solid because he had a great story arc in Black Panther, and then he was going to be able to, grow and develop because he was going to be a major aspect of Marvel Phase 4 and 5, as opposed to with the Avengers going forward, especially since they already knew, spoiler alert for those who've been living under the comic book rock, that Tony Stark Sr. has died in Endgame, right? He was going to be...
For real?
Yeah, I know, right? He was going to be a part of those superheroes going forward with Thor, and I'm sure they had the same plan for Sam Wilson as Captain America and things like that. So they were going to be together, and we kind of going to miss the ability for people like Sam and T'Challa to team up, which I think would be fantastic.
I want to see Sam and Ant-Man together.
Okay.
After that interaction on the roof, like when they first fought.
Oh, Civil War.
Civil War, yeah. I think that would be kind of funny. I think this show had way too much comedy in it. As
Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Falcon and Winter Soldier. I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I liked the show, but it was just too much off from other Marvel shows, other Marvel movies. It was, I said it to Mike, it seemed like a really long buddy cop movie. It just seemed like it was too jokey at points.
I didn't laugh at all.
No?
No.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't think it was that. Yeah, I don't think
their interaction was, I don't know. To me, it just seemed so. It was funny. It was funny. It was a good show. I love the show. It was my favorite of all the Marvel shows that are, well, it's only 2 out now, but it's besides Mandalorian, it's my favorite show on Disney Plus. But it was just a lot of,
I think,
buddy cop stuff.
I wish it was more like Guardians of the Galaxy, or I like the ones that I'm laughing, really laughing at the movie.
Here's the thing, because Nate, I have to counter that, man. Chloe is right. Nowhere was this more funny than Guardians of the Galaxy. Nowhere was this. I think the funniest Marvel movie got to be Thor Ragnarok, right? That was might as well be.
Hold on.
I know him from work.
You're just gonna disregard Deadpool like that, really?
Oh, yeah, sorry. He's in his own little, but this definitely for me. They did the buddy cop thing. They had certain looks, certain stuff, but I don't think it was too much because Marvel does funny stuff, right? So if it was funnier than, let's say, Deadpool, then Guardians of the Galaxy And remember, we got 2 Deadpools, we got 3 Guardians of the Galaxy, we got how many Thors, but especially Ragnarok. But Marvel has that undertone comedy.
Absolutely. And the Guardians will be in Thor 4, which is going to be great as well. And to Nate's point, the only time I actually saw the humor was really the banter between Bucky and Sam. That's
what I mean. That's what I mean. Between them two, it was just everything else was so serious. But then those two together were just so lighthearted. It was like to me, it threw off the balance at times.
Want me to tell you something? I think they do. I think when Transformers Success came out, Michael Bay added a lot of humor in it, right? And I think it's 2 things. One, I'll get to the serious part about it. One, I feel like they didn't want it to fall in his face, right? So if it end up not being that good, you could at least be like, it wasn't supposed to be taken that serious. It was kind of funny, right? That was kind of like a scapegoat for the movie. And 2, the element that pulled in non-comic book, non-cartoon fans was brilliant, right? So the Marvel movies added that as well. So Sam, like for instance, can you imagine if Silence of the Lamb, the first one, just like sucked really bad, right? But imagine if you threw in a little bit of comedy, you could be like, it wasn't supposed to be taken serious. You'd be like, yeah, you're right. So I feel like Marvel is smart because they add a little bit of the humor in there. So you don't like if it was just a straight 100% serious show, no comedy, I think you could have more thumbs downs because people are gonna really hold it at face value. Like this is supposed to be that serious, good, again, perfect example, and I'll be quiet. I said my favorite part of Thor Ragnarok is my least favorite, right? To have Thor and Hulk in a movie, it was a missed opportunity to have it a serious movie. But Thor and Hulk was so funny, it just worked, so it was great. It's like I would have loved a serious tone Hulk and Thor, but at the same time, it made the movie. So
well, to be fair, they did have some serious moments in the movie. Like I understand overall because Taika Waititi, so he's gonna have that comedic undertone as well. But you also have, again, it's kind of like in video games or in fantasy when you have 2 overpowered characters, you're gonna have to have some comedy in there to balance it out. Kind of like how when Snyder.
Sorry.
That's what we're looking at now. Oh, okay.
No, I was trying.
Hey man.
Hey.
I was trying to get this up on my phone so I could see the text and everything.
All right.
And
what had happened was I got you, but I actually do agree with Jennifer Hall here. Does Marvel have a comedy undertone or a snark undertone? Because they are not the same thing, and I would have to agree because I would say overall, generally, Marvel is incredibly snarky. So you have Tony Stark Tony Stark Sr. You have Spider-Man. You have Deadpool, of course. So I think it's
I think it's comedy because like think about was Miles Morales. That movie was hilarious.
That's a cartoon. Could we not add that in here, please?
No, we still have.
Why? It's still part of the MCU.
Nah, that is not in the MCU.
Even in the cartoon that we watch, it's funny.
Those are cartoons. How a cartoon?
It's a lot of sarcasm, which is
a cartoon. Oh man,
I ain't even funny. Like Guardians of the Galaxy was fun. There were jokes.
Oh yeah, I agree.
No.
Yeah.
Guardians is a popcorn flick. That's his purpose. That's his demographic. They're definitely there for the funny laughs and with Thor is usually the comic relief at times.
But think about it. It's brilliant, right? First of all, Guardians of the Galaxy was characters that wasn't popular. 2, look at the characters themselves. You got a stick guy, you got a raccoon. Like it's brilliant. Like who would have took this movie serious if Rocket wouldn't have been laughing and making jokes? So that's brilliant to me, to make that comedic undertones,
And Big Mike said he never laughed out loud for Falcon Winter Soldier, but I could see the humor. I actually laughed hard in Thor Ragnarok and Guardians. I could definitely see that. And he also says, I feel like Tony set the tone starting with Iron Man 1 with his comedic timing and one-liners. But again, that has to do with being snarky and sarcastic.
Right.
Yeah.
which is different from comedy. Like Guardians is comedy, one-liners and being, debonair. That's, to me, that's snarky, sarcastic. That's in that realm. But again, that's just me.
I'm gonna say this. I think as an adult, you might think it's sarcastic, but I see kids laughing at parts in movies, so it has to be some type of comedy up in there.
No. But again, you can be funny and snarky.
They don't necessarily get sarcasm. Children.
This is 2021. I don't know what shit you're talking about.
I don't know about that.
My son is sarcastic all the time.
Yeah, that's like kids. It's
not like slapstick comedy where you get somebody and it's not like corny comedy, but I look at it as like action has comedy in it. But I don't know. I don't think it's snarky. I think I laugh. Maybe I have a different humor than you guys.
It's all good. I mean, I think either whatever you want to call it, I think it's good. But me personally, right? If I had my choice of taking out the comedy, I personally would. But I do feel like that the comedy allows non-fans to be able to enjoy the movie, and that's smart. You can make more money. Like for instance, this is my favorite. My top again is biased Marvel movie. And it had the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. Like there was like just a straight like. I don't think there was humor in it at all. If it was super subtle. But it's smart, man. That's why I don't make movies, because I would have been like, no, we can't make a joke, and somebody would be like, a lot of people ain't gonna watch your movie then, right? But now you could get, how many non-comic book fans watch these movies because again they feel like a popcorn movie.
Exactly. It's all about demographics. Thank you, Tony Stark Jr. And Chloe, I would have to say your humor may be in question only because you laughed when Dobby died in Harry Potter. Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh, don't respond, lady. Don't respond.
I did. It was an interesting moment.
A barely hilarious moment for you.
Pepper Pig was way snarky. Pepper Potts?
Potts, yes.
Who's that?
I got
Tony Stark's
Tony's wife.
Yeah,
assistant / girlfriend, whatever.
Oh,
baby mom,
Pepper Pig is snarky though, too.
I got a quick question, a tech question. So I just need to get up real quick. How do I make my screen not be on my screen like Nate just did?
Stop your camera.
Yeah.
And mute your mic so we don't hear what's going on.
Oh, you can hear everything I was doing? I'm sorry.
Yeah. I just I had to mute you out of courtesy and whatnot.
Sir, I thought that since I was away, my Bluetooth would disconnect.
That's what happens to a lot of people on Zoom calls.
Yeah.
I had to do that because I didn't want just a plain green back screen and go kind of
So wait, just a FYI, StreamYard does have a chroma key if you wanted to have whatever background you wanted with the green screen.
I do.
So just if you wanted to jazz it up, it's all up to you, sir.
How do I do that?
So if you go to the cam and mic, and you go to there's a green screen tab, and if you just have to remove the Jacksonville Jaguars background in the back.
Stupid idiot. Not you, me. All right.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then we had and then Big Mike says what had a lot of comedy was the Ant-Man movies. I agree. See,
we
had Paul Rudd, who was a comedian.
Oh yeah.
So again, to me, that's what makes it different. And Robert Downey Jr. is not a comedian, but he's funny because of his one-liners. That's who he is. So I put that that's why I put it in the snarky category, which is why I think he's perfect to be a superhero. And I think Peter Parker is probably best known for that, his one-liners for all the villains he's fighting against.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy, though, that he always has time to crack a joke while fighting. It's like he never takes it serious. It's like, come on.
Absolutely.
T.I. used too many guns in real life. You have to get kicked off.
Huh?
He was gonna be an Ant-Man? I didn't know that.
He was an original Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant kicked off. All right, that makes sense.
Hold on, let me try this one more time. Sorry.
And now.
And now your mama knows, right? All right. So our next topic is actually going to be about HBO Max, and we have Tony Stark Jr. back in the building.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so apparently HBO Max is now offering a lower tier version of HBO Max for $5 less per month, and you actually have it with commercials. So again, for $5, you might as well just keep it to have not commercials, because when I think about HBO specifically, it's premium content without commercials. That's literally their competitive advantage. And I understand they're trying to be more competitive because it's streaming wars. I get it. But to me, this doesn't make too much sense. I don't know. Yeah,
in the history of HBO, man, even from being a little kid with the and to show all the city and the lights, and it turned HBO. I'm going way back, but yeah, man, it never been like what? And again, like you said, you think of it as premium content. You don't want your premium content being you know what it would feel like? You know, when you go see a movie in the movies, right? And then like a couple years later, that movie's on TV and you're like, oh, let's watch it. And you're watching it and the commercial come in. You're like, yo, man, like it really bothers you. And you feel like, did they just cut out stuff or not? Because it's on regular TV.
Yes.
Yeah. But some people who don't care, hey, save
are the commercials going to be in the content?
Well, it's going to be like a commercial break here.
Because I'm like, what if they did it? What if they were like, oh, you have to watch this ad before you watch the movie type of thing?
That
like,
might not be bad. That might not be bad. Yeah, I could go for that.
So but is that worth $5?
Okay, I guess it depends on how many commercials. If you're going to hit me with like 5 commercials before I get to watch my movie, then we might have a problem.
I mean, why? If it's before the movie,
it's like the previews.
Yeah, but I go into the movies knowing and actually wanting previews, right? So like but if you're gonna have like toothpaste commercials and I don't know, whatever.
No, what if they do it just like the movie format, where it's like, here's a preview of all our content that you have to watch before you watch the actual show? Would you want to save $60 a year?
Yes.
I think I'd rather just spend the money. Hold on real quick, guys.
Yeah, I would definitely rather spend the money because that's the whole reason I got it, is to have it without commercials, Disney Plus without commercials, Showtime without commercials, that type of thing.
Now, if they bundled it, right? So say they were like, for $10 a month, you get Disney Plus, HBO Max, and then with commercials in it, then I think people would buy it. If it was like a bundle and ESPN.
Definitely. Absolutely.
But if it was just by itself, nah.
So wait, are there no commercials on HBO?
No, there's no commercial. It's on demand.
On HBO Max, no commercials.
Even on regular HBO. Well, if you're watching it live, there's like previews to upcoming.
Okay, so yes, full transparency in true HBO fashion. When you have the previews of the other shows, those are the only commercials that you really have for its own content, as it should be, because it's its own platform.
Correct. Yeah, you got to advertise on you. That would be terrible if you don't advertise your own stuff on your own stuff.
They don't, though. Right. They really don't. If you're watching the premium version where you can live stream, we haven't seen a commercial. We just click on something that's new, and then you could choose to watch the commercial. But the pay one will probably be like, you're forced to watch their commercials for their content, which honestly probably wouldn't be too bad if you really don't care.
Yeah,
I'm more impatient. Like I'm Netflix spoiled me, so
absolutely. And Jennifer Hall says Marvel is not a monolith. They made it that way so all the comic book nerds could bring their hot wives because now it's pop culture. Sure, I definitely see that. Nice photo, Nate Dizzle. Okay. Mr. Urban World says, I got the free tier, baby. Really? $0 for HBO Max and Disney Plus. Okay, Flav. And Big Mac says commercials will be on TV shows, but you also won't get the day and date movies for lower tier. Yeah, I heard that as well. So
that might be a problem.
Which is again their whole marketing scheme. So apparently when you get the lower tier, You're not going to be able to get all the movies that they promised to release on HBO Max.
Wait. You don't get them the same day? They probably are gonna put it on there, just not release day.
Yeah, that's so day and date. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah, day and date just means it won't come out. Like if a movie come out on October 2nd, don't expect seeing that on October 2nd.
Yes, unless you have.
How long do you have to wait though?
Probably a day.
Nah.
Oh, it's not going to be a day. Trust me.
It's not
going to be a day.
Yeah, they won't do that. Look at even the WWE network. The Raw and SmackDown come on regular television. It's not on WWE network for 30 days.
Exactly. That makes sense to me. So 30 days. Yeah.
Say that one more time.
So the WWE network has Raw and SmackDown, like their premier shows. One is on Monday, one is on Friday, one is on USA Network on Mondays, one is on Fox on Fridays, right? So that content will eventually be on the WWE network, but not for 30 days. So what it makes you do, they got contracts with USA Network and contracts with Fox. So in order to make them feel like, hey, what are you gonna, if you got your own network or WWE network with your own content, but then why would people watch Fox and USA Network if they could just get it the next day? That would be bad. That would be career suicide for what? That would be bad, right? So 30, like I'm a wrestling fan. I can't wait 30 days. So chances are I would have already watched it. So, it makes sense.
That's weird because Hulu has the stuff
a day later, right?
A day later, yeah. It's usually it's like a shortened version of Raw. It's like an hour and a half instead of the 3-hour show.
And you know what's cool? Years ago, when a friend of mine told me about Hulu, right? And I was like, oh, wait. So that was like the answer to cable. Hey, get Hulu. And I was like, okay. And I never had Hulu. And this is why. Never. I'm a wrestling fan. Me and my friend was debating and arguing about a wrestler, right? I won't say it because I probably don't know what I'm talking about. So we was arguing and debating about this wrestler, right? And then my friend, all right, Braun Strowman. We was arguing and debating about Braun Strowman, right? And so my friend was like, I was like, did you see what happened with Braun Strowman? I told you he was going to get over. It's like, what are you talking about? I was like, bro, you didn't see it? It's like, I watched Raw. I was like, wait, you watched Raw? You know what I'm talking about? He was like, Braun Strowman was on there. I was like, yes, he was. I was like, wait, what did you watch it on? He was like, I was watching on Hulu. I was like, wait, I was like, so why was it on it? He was like, oh, because Hulu have, so they pick and choose to cut out stuff.
Yeah.
That's not the same thing. No, I can't, you can't have me watch my movie and they just cut out a certain scene, a part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, definitely. No, thank you. And Jennifer Hall says it depends on how many commercials there are, and I agree with Chloe's point as well, because it depends if you have it in the beginning. I think that's a wonderful trade-off.
That's great. Yeah.
Yep.
And Big Mike says with day and date movies is not worth it. Totally agree with that. Jennifer Hall says HBO markets on other networks. Go ahead, Claudius.
So with the day and date movies, they just say, oh, for this movie, you can pay $2 to watch it, or you can pay $5 to watch it the day of.
Because Disney Plus, you got to pay 30 of them things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
Now, is it to keep them? Like on Disney Plus, like when what was that movie you guys were talking about last week? Mulan, yeah. Like when that came out, it was like $30. Now, was that just to rent it, or did you buy the movie for $30?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's to see it during the theatrical release window.
Yeah, so I don't think it's to own.
You don't have FOMO.
Get that out of here.
Yeah.
Because eventually it's going to be on Disney Plus anyway for free. So it's just your patience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I waited that 30 days for watching that movie. Glad to.
I guess what it comes down to is if it's a movie, let's say me and my wife really want to see this movie, right? So we could either spend about $30 going to the movies when you add in candy, or more than $30 when you add
way more than that.
Yeah, right.
For one person, it's $30.
Hold on. I don't know what you eating at the movie theater. Yeah, that's a lot.
But $30.
The tickets are like $20.
No,
it's not $20.
Yes,
they're 15 to 18. And
Hold
18,
up.
18 is the IMAX price, so it's not more than 18.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Plus
If you
tax.
go to,
Wait,
if you
hold
go
on. No, plus tax, and then if you're gonna get some popcorn
Big Mike
for $8 of popcorn,
Big Mike, get in the comments, please.
Big Mike
hold
got.
up, I can tell you more than Big Mike because I go to the movies. We never stop going to the movies. Mike stopped going to the movies. I can tell you this. A movie isn't gonna be $30 now. Yeah,
theater that you're going to. If you're going to like some little rinky-dink theater, it's gonna be
just go
$7. You get the student discount. Jennifer Hall, yes. On Friday, Saturday, I've seen it at $18.95 plus tax. Yes, $20. And some popcorn
right.
is like $8.
If it's a premium movie,
right? Because that's if you hold up. That's if you
3D IMAX. Like that's the whole point.
What? No. First of all, 3D is trash, right? So I'm not wasting my money on 3D anymore.
I agree.
3D is not worth it.
Yeah, you're getting beat over the head.
So if Avatar came out, you're not gonna see it in 3D.
Nope.
If Godzilla versus King Kong was in 3D, I definitely would have seen it in 3D.
Well, you would have, not me. So the 3D is a cool gimmick, but they beat me over the head too many times. I seen Endgame in 3D. The first time I seen it the next day, not in 3D, and it was a better experience, not in 3D.
I agree because 3D is a gimmick. It's part of the.
And here's the thing with 3D: what they do is they'll record like 5 scenes throughout a 2.5-hour movie that's 3D, and the rest of it is just foreground and background. It's not good. I want things to come close to where I'm like, oh, like that's when 3D is good. When 3D first came out, they was doing that. Remember that one Piranha 3D? They jumping out the screen, and you was like dipping in. And Journey to the Center of the Earth. That was like still the best 3D I've seen. I remember taking my kids for spit dropped and it splashed on the screen. They don't do that in movies no more. You get about 5 3D scenes, if that.
So okay, and like I said, it also depends on what movie theater you're going to. Like I'm talking about movie theaters I go to. AMC Dine-In movie theater, that junk is expensive. Like you're gonna spend
you're probably buying a meal. You go in there buying shrimp scampi or something, I guess so.
Yep.
But that's not the normal. That's not the norm for majority of people who are going to see movies to go pay and sit in a place where they have to recline and see people bring food out to you. I would love to do that, but that's not the norm.
Right.
Not that it's bad. It's just sorry.
Chloe, I think you're muted.
I can't hear.
Okay, there you go.
She mad and cussing me out. I can't hear.
At night to a movie that is probably sold out.
Wow.
So what Mike said, he said, speaking of the theater, Fast and Furious 9 is theaters only. The VOD for $20 after 17 days. Curious to see how many.
$30. And then if you're going with a family of people, that's something like Tony, $30. And like,
yeah, I went to movies a lot in my life, and I never spent $30 on myself. That's crazy. But I guess there's scenarios where you can pay that much. You know, if you went to, like my wife and I, we went to Miami and we went to what's called a Dolphin Mall and we went to the Cine Bistro, and it was super expensive because it was the eat-in, the experience. Like it was really nice. But yeah, regular movie theater, like when we went to, before we start getting the passes, we went to the regular movies. It was we went to the Woodhaven Mall. It was at $10.99, you know. I guess before the pandemic, yeah, $17 something was if you get the bells and whistles. You go on to IMAX and 3D and stuff like that. But yeah.
It's my internet.
Well, look, man, we could take over the show then, Nate. It's you and me, baby.
Cool.
Hello. Do you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, we can now.
Yeah.
Darn it, man. I was trying to take over. The king of content was trying to turn this into his show. Chloe, say something.
So
Hello?
Can't hear. AMC 24.
Hold on, I'm having technical difficulties. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. We had a little technical difficulties. But yeah, see, not even super nice theater have plenty of things showing. recliner seats for $18.95.
Now, are these pandemic prices or
no? These are pre-pandemic prices.
Yeah.
Pre-pandemic. Pandemic prices are cheap right now because they're begging people to go to the movie theaters.
The theater around here.
Well, again, I think it depends when you go. If you go when everyone else is going, and the theatrical release, which is about 3.
Yeah, but look what Jennifer said though. She mentioned a reclining seat. So when AMC 24 had $18.95, I guarantee that was IMAX and 3D. Like that wasn't regular prices without, because remember, IMAX and Dolby Digital, they're when you get the seats that recline. If you go into a regular theater, then you don't have the reclining seats into the regular, so $6 Tuesdays. We used to have a low Tuesday as well.
I like the Dollar Theater.
Oh, that was
they still have them anymore, but
yeah, not that I know.
There's a drive-in theater around here that's opening up.
Oh, where you live at? Oh, you're in Florida now.
Orlando, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. We got one. So we got it's about an hour and 30 minutes away. Is the only drive-in theater in New Jersey, in Vineland. So we go there every summer.
The thing about Orlando, you can drive 2 hours from where we are and still be in Orlando.
That's cool.
It's upsetting. Not upsetting. It's weird. Like in Jersey, you drive 2 hours and be out of state.
Oh yeah.
From almost anywhere.
Because Florida is just long. Like so my wife friend lives in Fort Myers, and I used to live in Jacksonville, right? So, but that's a 5-hour drive, like 5 hours, to get from Jacksonville to Fort Myers. It's crazy. And that's not even at the bottom of Florida.
Hold on. Oh, crap. Somebody walked in my house. I don't know that.
Well, I mean, there's ways to get discounts, but generally speaking, if you're taking somebody out to the movies, you're gonna spend money. Unless
definitely.
And then
that was my
got kids, like.
Yeah, so my whole point was that $30 isn't as bad when you look at it, right? You could have spent $30 just to go, but if again, in my scenario was if me and my wife wanted to watch that movie, if we was going to go to the movie theater, we would end up getting close to 30 anyway, So then you could just watch it at home.
I wonder if you can rewatch it. Like, how long is the rental? Like, is it?
I know.
To keep it, or is it just like it's like a rental for like a day or two?
Right. Yeah. Well, that was Nate's original question. He was curious: do you own it, or is it just a rental? So that's
exactly.
You probably could just have access to it. I would think. I would hope so. For $30.
Yeah, that would I like to know.
So, oh wait.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, geez, this girl scared the crap out of me.
Well, I see the 413 back there, man. My birthday's April 13th.
Oh, cool. Mine too.
Oh, y'all twins?
Oh wait, maybe we discussed this before. I'm not sure if we did. But
I think we did. It sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah.
But no, that's my Twitch stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I have to guess, and that's the thing too. You stream on Twitch, not YouTube. Rats.
I stream on whatever it can get working at the time.
Oh, okay.
I want to start streaming on YouTube more, but I've been doing Twitch because I can stream straight from the Xbox.
Right.
I don't need to hook up to the computer.
Right. You don't need a capture card and all that. Yeah.
But I have a capture card. I lost my camera and just found it. So now I can stream on anything.
Nice.
Because the camera on the computer doesn't work. But this
how
thing does.
Well, how often do you stream?
Whenever I can.
Gotcha. Okay.
I used to do every day, and then it was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and now it's just whenever I can get the stuff working.
Gotcha. Oh, my man, Cloud Gamer Dad is in the building. What's up, man?
Jennifer Hall.
Or whenever Miss Hall lets me.
All right, we're back in business, baby.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
There we go.
Yeah.
Is that Jennifer Hall that I used to play basketball with? My name.
Did she play basketball?
I used to play basketball with Jennifer Hall back in middle school.
No, I think that's is that Nate's Jennifer Hall?
Yeah, it wasn't a Hall back in middle school.
Nate's like, no, I put the Hall on her. He's like, I put her in the Hall.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have to ask everyone, since we're on the streaming versus theater issue. If you had a choice of a top 5 streaming platforms that you would have to keep no matter what would you pick? And I know for me, I thought about going back in the day, Netflix, that always has to be in the top 5. But now you have HBO Max, that's definitely in my top 5. I would actually put HBO Max first. I would put Disney Plus second. I would put Paramount Plus third, because there's a lot of great content on that, and I watch a lot of live sports, so they have a lot of live sports. And then I would put Netflix fourth and Amazon Video via Prime fifth for me in my top 5.
Nice. In my the kids like to say use case. In my use case, so it's funny because you left out, because I look at a streaming service. I look at YouTube. I watch more YouTube than I watch TV throughout the week. So YouTube is number 1 for me. Number 2 is the WWE Network, or I guess Peacock now, because I'm a wrestling fan. I gotta watch my pay-per-views. And then number 3 is Netflix, because we do watch shows on Netflix. And number 4 and 5, I don't even care. I mean, I could go without. I don't pay for Disney. I don't pay for HBO. So I feel like I could not have those. But if I had to choose, I would say Disney first, because of the Marvel movies, and then I really don't have a need for HBO, period, because I go to the movies. So, but I guess I'll say HBO.
Sounds like someone who hasn't seen Watchmen or Lovecraft Country.
Definitely.
Nope, haven't seen them.
Interesting.
Or can you rank yours?
Titans? Are you kidding me?
Oh, geez, I want to see Titans.
And it's gritty and gory.
It's DC, man. They automatically get me like,
They're dark. DC is dark.
I heard it was good, but
I'm gonna go with HBO Max because they have the Boondocks on there, and they have a whole bunch of shows on there. Like, I haven't even looked at everything they have. So HBO Max, and then I don't pay for YouTube now, but probably YouTube will be second. To skip all the ads, and then third would be Disney Plus. Fourth would be maybe what else do we have?
Netflix. It's definitely Netflix. You can stop capping, Chloé.
And 5 would be I guess Hulu. I never use Hulu. No, 5 would be Amazon.
Yes, thank you.
Done.
What about you, Nate?
For me it's easy. It would be Hulu. Let's say Taco Bell. Sorry, hold on. Let me bring this up.
Wait,
what? A chalupa? No, the quesalupas.
What's a quesadilla? Well, is that a quesadilla and a chalupa in one?
Yeah, it's a. They messed it up. Anyway, it's a chalupa, and then it has cheese on the outside of it, and then it has a like a soft taco shell on that. So it just looks like a taco.
Oh.
But, so yeah, for me it's Disney Plus, Netflix, CW, Hulu, and YouTube.
Okay.
No Twitch?
I don't watch Twitch.
Okay.
Twitch.
Got you. You only stream to Twitch. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, see, I have to keep CW because of Black Lightning, Flash, shows like that. Which as another show that has it changed one of the lead characters, the daughter on Black Lightning, and oh crap, I can't remember her name. She's Uma from Disney's Enchanted. No, I can't remember her name right now. But there was a main girl from that show who left the show mid-season during the Corona stuff, and sorry, she's out there young. But they changed her mid-season to like she was, I don't know, like maybe 5'4", 5'5", maybe to a chick who's a woman, who is like way taller than her now, and it's kind of working out. But it's another show. I mean, she's not a bad actress. It's just they have a new person playing as someone else. It was like recasting T'Challa, but the person obviously doesn't look like him, but is like 5 or 6 inches taller than him.
They
still trying to speak with his cadence and everything. It just
they pulled in My Wife and Kids.
My Wife and Kids.
You remember when
with what's his name died?
He went from
you mean Aunt Bev from
No, that too.
I was gonna say that.
Kids. They the daughter from a chocolate little cute girl to the light skinned girl with the curly hair. Y'all didn't watch My Wife and Kids for real?
We gotta read Mike's list.
Absolutely, and Big Mike said YouTube.
Oh, from Descendants. Okay.
And again, this first, I guess I only included things that I'm actually paying for because I don't pay for. I didn't pay for the YouTube Plus without the ads, so that's why I wasn't in my top 5. But I probably watch YouTube more than all those things. I agree with that. So YouTube, Hulu, Disney Plus, Netflix, and HBO Max. I can see that. And then Jennifer Hall had Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus. And Mr. Urban World had HBO Max, Disney Plus, Crunchyroll, don't know what that is, and Netflix.
That's for anime.
For anime.
Oh,
yeah. That's a cool site. If I liked anime.
Yeah.
I thought you did like anime.
I like the Boondocks. That's it. That's as anime as I get, guys.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z?
Nah, I did not like Dragon Ball Z.
Me neither.
Interesting.
And Pokemon. I used to watch Pokemon. That's it.
Pokemon. I saw something that was like recently. It said Ash is finally he finally won all of his tournaments after 20 years. And then someone posted in the comment like, "Well, yeah, if a 10-year-old took a 10-year-old 20 years to beat something, and he's still 10." And then it went into some rude political stuff, but it was, I don't know, never mind. Sorry. I'm just hungry. just hungry. Just start talking.
And sorry, Chloe, you're my fave, but on the show, The Boondocks isn't anime.
I'm Googling that right now.
Yeah, I don't look at that's definitely not anime. But
it's adult.
It says even though the cartoon was produced by Americans and South Koreans, some scenes in season 2 were actually created in Japan. So technically, anime is simply animation. That audience and the art style of the Boondocks is undeniably anime.
I mean, I always go by the artwork for me, but I understand that anime has more deeply esoteric themes woven into their content. So I understand for someone who's strictly about anime, Boondocks isn't really the same. It's more of a satire piece, about,
Here's the thing with anime. Every character, or almost every character, is pretty much supposed to be Japanese or Asian, but they draw them like they're Americans.
Right.
But
for marketing purposes.
From what I'm hearing, you say is anime is separatist culture.
Well, no. It's not that. It's because you have the diversity of it being animated. So similar to how you have kung fu movies that would have people speaking in an Asian dialect, but then you have an American voiceover or English
subtitle or dubbed English dubbed.
Exactly. So with cartoon, you don't need that. You can just use the same footage or the same animation, and then have a English or Spanish or whatever language over top of it as a dub or as a voiceover.
Looks like the same animation to me. If you put Goku next to Riley, it's the same type of artistic depictions, just different colors.
Right. So that's why I would say it's similar in terms of the art, but in terms of, I guess, the lore of anime, maybe.
It's so another article. The Boondocks should be considered the first Black anime.
No, because if you got into like the important words not used was lore, right? So if you got into the lore, where the characters came from, whatever, like the Boondocks is pretty much just Black kids. Like they don't have like a background of like swinging swords and
Riley does.
Riley definitely does.
Okay, well,
a whole bunch of Riley samurai.
But it's not. All right, whatever. I'm gonna step out of this.
Yep, step out.
and again, by the artwork, and again, Aaron, who's the creator of the Boondocks, he obviously was a fan of anime. He made it similar to anime.
It's probably inspired.
Adjacent.
You can see it.
But usually anime has, characters who have, magical powers, and it's in the fantasy realm. And then the fight scenes in the Boondocks, which is very, anime-esque, is a nod to that, the style that which he borrowed it from.
That's a stinkmeter fight.
It's a lot of anime. Samurai references. Okay. Like I said, that's the only anime I watch.
I like your first statement. You said this is as close as I get to anime. I'll take that.
It's anime.
And that's.
Have you seen Afro? I think it's Afro Samurai or
I think
Afro Samurai
with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes. That's anime. That's
anime.
I'll get Chloé to watch that. She might actually think that's hilarious, to be honest.
Yeah. That show is funny. Well, no.
You look like Stinkmeister.
Stinkmeaner.
It's the same animation.
But it's Samuel L. Jackson's voice.
Yeah.
And this is considered anime, but the Boondocks isn't?
Boondocks is anime-ish. Anime-like.
It's a cartoon.
It actually might be called anime appropriation.
Hey. Give us a chance to appropriate something.
Not if two scenes were made in Japan. Not appropriation. Okay.
All right, guys. Now we have our new segment, which is Mental Theater at Warp Speed, where we talk about essentially comic and fantasy headlines under 30 seconds for each person. So let's hit Warp Speed, everybody. All right. The first one is something that Big Mike shared, which is that there is definitely going to be a Green Lantern series that's going to hit HBO Max. So Nate Dizzle, I see your jubilation. How do you feel about this?
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but no. Green Lantern, I love Green Lantern. When you guys had the thing about the top 10 comic book movies, Green Lantern was I'm sure I didn't say it, but it's my number one comic book movie of like all time. I know everyone hates it, but I love Green Lantern. So I mean, if it's a show coming out, a series coming out, I'm all for it. They've been hinting about different lanterns in different in current DC shows, or yeah. So if it comes out, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Absolutely. And just to reiterate what Nate said, I mean, to me, this is a great opportunity for not only DC, but HBO Max, because you have the opportunity to have a series, which isn't a big of an investment. So similar to how Netflix is going to use Assassin's Creed as a series as opposed to a film. So it might be easier to have character development and get into the series, right? And then you have the ability using the inspirations for their shows like True Detective on HBO, right? So to imagine if you had a Green Lantern and each season you have a different Green Lantern in a different part of the galaxy. The possibilities are endless. So hopefully they knock that apart.
Yeah.
Is the Green Lantern black?
Yes and no.
They have
yes,
one.
No, yes. There's a green, there's a black and white and other worldly Green Lanterns all over
So
the
he's
world.
like Spider-Man.
No. Green Lantern.
A whole bunch of different ones in different universes.
I would say it's more keen to the Kree and Marvel.
Yeah. It's like Green Lantern is it's the Green Lantern Corps, like military
organization.
So there's different people, different creatures, celestial bodies, whatever, planets as
it's like Star Wars.
Green Lanterns.
Oh, okay, like Star Wars. Okay.
Like Star Wars. You know, you can have a black Jedi, you can have a dude that's a white Jedi, you can have a creature that's a Jedi.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
it's someone who is chosen, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
And they use their rings as like rings would be like a lightsaber using the force and
Okay.
That makes sense.
So I'm for it.
Tony Stark Jr., your thoughts?
I wouldn't spend a second watching the show. I'm not the biggest DC fan, and I feel like I guess word of mouth will have to hook me in, but like Titans, word of mouth didn't hook me in on that yet. I'm sure if I probably gave it a second, I'd be like, yo, the Titans is awesome. But I'm just not I'm not a DC fan, not a Green Lantern fan. And so I did go see the movie though, because it was a comic book movie, but I don't think I always look at shows as lesser than a movie. So I would go see a movie, but I don't think I would invest my time to watch a show about something I don't have an interest in.
Yeah, that's fair. They would have to earn your interest, and I think that's completely fair. And Big Mike accurately says there are several lanterns. The show will be about the core and take place in several different decades. I heard that as well. I'm excited about that. And Jennifer Hall paraphrased and said it's like the Power Rangers because it is morphin' time.
Yes, and the green one's the best one.
1000%. Okay, the next topic is.
Wait, what about you and Chloe?
Well, I went first already.
You went.
Oh yeah.
Chloe, didn't you already go?
No. Right.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yes, you will, or no, you won't.
By the way, they actually had two options as Tyrese and Idris Elba as potential Black Green Lanterns.
Oh, geez, no.
You might be able to bring that in there. We'll see.
You know what's weird? Let me say this last thing.
Who is very similar. He's, by the way, just to give Chloe context, the black version of the Green Lantern is very similar to Falcon's character.
Okay.
If Idris or Tyrese, if they was like and if they was on the show, it's so weird the way the brain is, right? I would still be like, it's a DC show. I don't know. But if they was just on a random superhero show, that had nothing to do with any of the comic book worlds, I'd probably be like, yo, did you see that new superhero thing? Because it'll be brand new and it won't have the politics of, oh, we can't do so much and we can't do this much. And it's like, sometimes it's just like, and I don't have that interest. You know?
And Tony, I completely understand. Unfortunately, it's spoken as a man who has not seen Watchmen yet. So I would respectfully say give Watchmen a chance and to see how that story develops.
You know what's funny? I went and seen Watchmen the movie though. I seen that in the movie. That was one of my first Blu-rays I owned, but I haven't watched again. Something a bigger like, oh, you going to the movies? Did you see that? You see the trailer, you get sucked in. But a show, again, I always feel like a show is lesser than a movie. So I'm like, I really want to. And if I watch one episode, I gotta watch it all. So I'm like, am I gonna invest watching this whole show and I have no interest?
But again, once you see Watchmen, you'll see how they're going to be able to tell that story in a way that you're not going to expect. So I think you might be pleasantly surprised whenever and if ever you get around to it. Jennifer Hall says, "Why do they have to pick 50-year-olds though? Both good actors, but Green Lantern is going to break a hip." Yeesh.
Wow.
DC hate can longer be tolerated. I mean, I agree, but we respect fan opinion here. So a fan.
I mean, I've seen probably every DC movie though. I just don't know if I watch a DC show. I did watch Smallville.
But well, why? Why? It seems like you're saying you're not going to watch it because it's DC.
No, because it's a show. It's a DC show. Like
you should have the DC in the title.
Here's the thing. Like I said, I look at shows are usually lesser than a movie. So like I don't have that much interest in DC, but I still will go see the movie, right? But for me to watch shows are long too. Like you have how many seasons, right? And I'm not a control freak. I don't know what's the word, but if I watch one episode, I kind of have to follow through. But if I'm not that interested, I'll be like, oh, I don't want to watch the show no more. And then I'll not watch it anymore. I'll be like, dag, I watched the first episode, but never finished it. You know what I mean? So I feel like I just don't. Yeah, there you go. So I just won't even get into it. But I've heard, huh?
Have you seen Arrow?
No.
CW?
I would definitely not watch.
Really?
Oh,
so the reason being.
But why though? They are.
Reason being is first is DC and second it's on the C.
So you're proving Nate's point. It's because it's DC because you are literally
no. Hold on, I'll tell you why. I didn't watch none of the Marvel shows on Netflix. I was like, bro, it's a Netflix show. Are you serious? So many people are like, you gotta see Daredevil. I'm telling you, you gotta watch the Punisher. That one scene where in the Daredevil when the Punisher came in, they was in the fighting in the prison. I was like, it sounds cool, but it's a show on Netflix.
You know what? I'm going to make Big Mike responsible for this. This is unacceptable, Miguel. You were supposed to vanquish this and Tony years ago. So this is simply unacceptable.
Have you seen The Witcher?
Yeah, I did watch The Witcher.
Why? It's a show on Netflix.
It has nothing to do with Marvel or DC. It was like I said, if Idris or them was their own show, I'd probably be more interested because it'd be something brand new, you know. But I feel like going into it knowing it's a DC thing, it's always politics. Like, oh, they're never gonna get this character because it's on. Like that's what made me like Disney. Right, I'm gonna be able to, here you go. Knowing that for me, it's like
I knew she was gonna say something.
Knowing for me, what you said, someone needs to time out. No, listen. Knowing for me, it's gonna be like a lower like budget thing, and not even, but it's just like now what Disney did that was awesome. Disney had the characters that was in the movies in the show. Now we could talk because now I feel like that parallel is there, right? But just the CW version of something is like, now mind you, it'd probably be great. I'm not gonna say it's not great. It just they never do enough. I never see enough to make me watch it. Like for instance, I watched Smallville, the whole 800 seasons they had. I actually DVR'd all of Krypton, but never watched the episode, so I never got a chance to see it. But and then I switched DVR, so I lost it all. But
because. See, I just say don't watch Krypton not because it's DC, not because it was on Sci-Fi Channel, but because it was a good show that had a cliffhanger ending and was canceled. So you watch 2 seasons and then waiting for the 3rd season, and it's like, yeah, you're not getting it. You're just gonna be stuck.
Yeah, that hurts.
You got to watch 2 seasons, like maybe 20 episodes total of a good show, but then you get nothing.
See, I think what they did with the Hannibal show, that got canceled also, but what they did is they made sure once they was getting canceled, they made sure they wrapped it all up. So they never had another season. So what they did is they wrapped it up, put a bow on it. Like when it ended, it was like, that was cool. It was no cliffhanger. Like you got everything, and then it ended. But real quick, if you guys, I mean, what I'm just explaining is, I like movies, and I could watch a show, but I typically don't want to watch a show based off of something that was in the movie because I feel like they're not going to do the same justice. So I kind of just tend to feel like it's more a low budget version of the better version, right? So I'd rather just watch that 2-hour movie, and that was great, and I leave it at that. So that's why I never really got into any of these superhero shows that was on like CW or Netflix, whatever, you know. But Disney, they got the same characters, these big budget actors in the show, so that's different. That's why they're doing something special to me. But that's just the way my mind works.
That's fair. Now imagine if,
understand,
going back to the topic, the Green Lantern actor actually shows up into a DC film, the same actor. So there's some continuity there. We're interested in.
I just don't like DC like that. So that's the problem.
Selective morality. Okay. So
no, that's my preference. Not selective morality. I'm not a DC guy. You know, Marvel, I'll go out, I'll spend the extra time. But DC, I don't think I just won't spend the time. But I've seen all the movies, so
that's like, I understand what you're saying, because as a gamer, I'm not just going to say Xbox gamer. As a gamer, I get that. I understand you have your specific genre or specific thing that you like, and you want to stick with that because you don't want to mess it up. Me personally, I 3 in a row. Hate that. I play Xbox because that's all I've had. If I could afford a PS5, PlayStation, I would get one. But that's just because I'm a gamer in general. I like comic books in general. I will watch a movie, show. I'm not going to say I read an article, but you know, just stuff about any kind of comic. I'll give anything a chance. And yeah, there's some out there that are horrible, but I still stick by Green Lantern being a great movie.
I don't know if I could trust your judgment anymore.
I know.
No, but is Green Lantern your favorite superhero?
One of them, yeah. Green Lantern, Hawkeye, and Falcon.
Okay. And we also have some news that apparently Hawkeye's costume in an upcoming series on Disney Plus will be very comic book accurate, which I think would be interesting.
Is it going to be the ninja outfit?
The Ronin outfit?
The Ronin?
I hope so.
Potentially, because you see him take off the mask, and in the comic books he had the mask on. So we'll see. I think that'd be pretty badass. We shall.
Yeah.
And also,
isn't Haley Steinfeld? Isn't she going to be in that?
That I'm not sure yet. And Big Mike says Netflix Marvel shows were dope. They didn't need a big budget. Agreed, because Daredevil is a street character, but the acting and story was great. 1000%. Fantastic show. And Luke Cage as well. I think that was solid. Did you all know that upcoming Superman will be black? We'll see, because if Michael B. Jordan reprises his role as Killmonger and in the MCU, I'm not sure if he's going to be available to be the Black Superman. But they might be able to get the gentleman who played Mr. Manhattan to be the Black Superman as well. So we'll see.
He did a good job.
Oh, Mr. Manhattan in Watchmen, he's black.
Watchmen.
Yeah. In the series, but you had no interest in seeing this series.
Right.
No.
This.
No, I'm just saying
series,
that because in the movie he was like a alien, and like a blue dude or whatever.
Well, he's both in this one.
Oh, okay, got you.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I would have been like,
right?
Yeah, because he was only a blue dude in the movie. So
well, because the movie didn't go deeper into his back humanness.
Right.
Absolutely. And then keeping it in DC, sorry, Tony Stark Jr. So apparently Black Adam's suit, who will be portrayed by The Rock, for those who don't know, apparently his suit will require no padding, obviously, because The Rock is.
Yeah, right.
He's The Rock.
And Mr. Urban World is really capping right now. Stop the cap.
Yeah, you better stop. So no padding. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, again, I think I've seen every DC movie. Like, I'm a movie guy, you know, and I love comic books, but it's just when it comes to TV shows, I'm like, it's a lot of time you're requiring from me, man.
Okay, I can see that. Now, what about this possible TV series on Disney Plus, the Obi-Wan series, which will apparently, Ewan McGregor said he teased as if you'll see a young Luke Skywalker in the series. So I think that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. As long as they don't. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, just like how we saw on Mandalorian. But go ahead, Nate.
I was going to say, as long as they don't do like they did, as long as they don't do like they did on Mandalorian. Oh God, I hated that.
You know what's funny? I didn't have a problem with that. That's crazy.
So wait, Nate, would you prefer someone like Sebastian Stan just acting as young Luke?
Anyone, just acting as young Luke, instead of them doing the whole CGI to change your face. It's like, no, because there's good CGI. And then there's like they take it too far.
Okay.
You know what's so hard about all this stuff is if you take a arrogant or you do some type of like ask how many people who liked, who didn't like, I wonder the percentages where they would be, because I remember Big Mike was mad at me when I was like, yo, so did they actually, because the rumor was they would get dude from from the Winter Soldier, right? Or he looked just like Luke. They did a compare. Remember we showed the thing? So I remember when it happened in Star Wars or Mandalorian, I was like, yo, so did they get dude? He was like, what? That was CG. I was like, it was? He was like, yeah. He was like, bro, it was terrible CG. I was like, I thought it was all right. So it's so funny that two people could be like, that was terrible, and somebody would be like, what? That was cool. So I would love to, because they're trying, you could see that they're trying to go in the future to be able to say, you know what, we could take my likeness and continue on, right? I guess that's the ultimate when you think about it. Like, who is that, Dean Cain, or who's that somebody? They're gonna have a whole show with them CG'd in. No, it's I can't remember who it is, but
Lois and Clark?
Huh?
The new Lois and Clark show?
No. It's a super old actor from like the 60s or something. We talked about it before, and he's gonna his likeness is gonna, the whole show, he's the main character and it's gonna be his likeness like CG, right? So I feel like that's the future. Like, we're silly if we don't think eventually they're gonna keep trying to get technology to the point where, like, let's just say a Tom Cruise, he's gonna be too old to do stuff, right? But you're gonna might want to still have him in a show, right? Or a movie. And it'd be like, that's kind of cool if you could still put him in maybe he could voice act his young self in a John Wayne. There you go. Thank you. And I mean, that's where we're going. But obviously some do it right, some don't do it right. And so
absolutely. And speaking of someone who does do it right would be Mandalorian, because they have the stagecraft technology. Or where that big mechanism, essentially a screen in the background that is, that creates the setting. So that's also going to be used on Thor 4. They're going to use a lot of that.
Yeah. But I think when we're just speaking about people, I think, some people just think the people are done terrible. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say to Mike's response. He said that I like CW CGI. It's not just CGI. CW CGI. They're not changing people's face. They're not having a whole different person play as, or you know what I mean. They don't have like they're not going to have me in and then CGI me to look like Tom Cruise, or CGI me to look like Josh. The CW CGI is like the background stuff, and yeah, it's not as bad as Sci-Fi Channel CGI, where it looks like my screen right now, where you can tell the difference.
You don't like Sharknado?
Oh man, I like it because of how bad it is. But that's what the Sci-Fi Channel campy stuff is about. Is you're not going to watch and expect it to be
correct
Disney Channel quality.
And I think going back to, that's my point with shows. I would love for shows to look like the movies. CW does not look like the movies, correct? Like we all know that. The Netflix stuff don't look like the movies for the most part.
Smallville had like special effects.
Nah, Smallville was not like
Smallville didn't.
Y'all remember Charms? I mean, maybe it's just like your expectations are too high or too low.
No, it's just my reality is that a TV show is not going to be the movies. That's the reality. So I feel like, do I really, you know?
And it depends on the channel because HBO shows are movie quality.
Yeah, HBO does. Yeah, yes.
Like maybe it's the channels you're watching, but
yeah, I agree.
It's like I like the Watchmen. I never saw the Watchmen movie, but I liked the show.
Right.
The show, the special effects in the show were crazy because the budget was so high.
Yeah. I mean, if a show's on HBO, you already know they're going all in.
So if it's low budget, you ain't for it.
I just got to be sucked in. I need a trailer. I need to watch a trailer and be like, it's like when I talk about video games, right? I was a big Sony fan, but now I'm into the cloud, right? But if Sony made that certain game, like you have to make me say, I'm missing out if I don't see that show, or I'm missing out if I don't play that game, or I'm missing out, you know what I'm saying? So that's what businesses have to do in order to get certain people, right? So you made, like Mike always say, the Daredevil show was great. This show was great. I never seen a trailer that made me say, if I don't see that, I'm missing out. And I hear it all the time, like Watchmen, look, I'm telling you, you got to see it. I never seen it. Lovecraft, I never seen a trailer that made me feel like either the advertisement, just whatever it is in my head, the advertisement didn't make me say, that show I gotta watch, you know, or word of mouth. For instance, I didn't watch Game of Thrones for years. When we finally watched Game of Thrones, it was when season 6 ended. So we watched 6 seasons to catch up to season 7 coming out, right? And but I never got it spoiled for me either. Either just a lot of people just wasn't talking about it, just wasn't, you know. Yeah, that's just me, man. I love advertisements. So if you could sway me, I'm in. You just gotta get me to watch that first episode. Whatever show is great, and people always say, I'm telling you, like I heard The Condor. A friend of mine said, watch this show called The Condor. And he said, if you watch the first episode, I guarantee you'll be sold. I watched the trailer and I was like, I'm not sold. So I'm not even watching the first episode.
You already didn't go by. If they say watch the first episode, they're not saying watch the trailers. Trailers suck.
Some do and some don't.
But okay. We're not. No one's going to change your mind, and that's.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's
but
fine.
I agree with you guys though. I will probably watch one of the shows you're talking about and love it, and I'll be like, "Yo, I'm glad I took your advice." You know, I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely, and Big Mike has a wonderful point, saying that Tony has a point. Netflix and HBO are bad at marketing outside of their one platforms, and I agree. That's one of the things that Chloé and I said about our review of Lovecraft is that HBO didn't really market it as hard as they should have, because if they did, especially what was going on in America, you would have had tons of people interested in that show.
And that's what people say about Stadia. People are like, what is Stadia? There's like, yo, this one guy, he's an Xbox guy, and he somebody challenged him. He said xCloud isn't ready. And he said cloud gaming isn't ready because he's been playing xCloud. So somebody challenged, said, look, I'm going to send you a free Premier Edition. It got the controller, it got the Chromecast Ultra, and a month of a Pro. Play it and just tell me. He played it. Now he loves Stadia. That's his secondary platform. But you know what he always say when I watch his videos? Google is terrible. How are they not marketing this? How do people not know about this? This thing is amazing. But that's marketing. I'm telling you, you make a good. I'll even give you credit if you get me to see a bad movie because the trailer was so good.
But you're not going to find a bad movie with a good trip.
What?
Oh, never mind.
Hold on.
Scratch that.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies. I'm like, yo, man, Mortal Kombat. I'll stop there.
And Jennifer Hall says they don't really need to market outside of their network. I think for certain shows they do, especially now that we're in the streaming wars. I think HBO specifically is going to have to market outside of their network if they want new subscribers to compete with Disney. They're going to have to.
I agree.
But the thing is, there's going to be people who have the same opinion as Ant. Like if you don't like it, if you don't like something because of whatever, honestly, Could I ever convince you to watch The Flash on CW?
Never.
See,
my son watches it. My son watched all the. Listen, on my DVR, The Flash, their Archer, they're all on my DVR because my son watched them all. I ain't never clicked on one of them ever in all these years.
Arrow, not Archer.
Oh, my bad. That guy.
But Archer, you haven't. Archer's a cartoon. Archer's funny as hell.
That's a great.
But yeah, there are shows that there are shows that are really good on CW. DC shows. I'm not saying that as a DC fan.
Right.
I'm not a DC fan at all. but there are shows that if you don't. What?
I should have put on my shirt. Darn it. My Marvel shirt.
Yeah, there are shows that are really good, but if you aren't open to watching it, there's no point in like trying to talk to you about it. There's no point in trying to convince someone to watch a show or play a game or watch a movie or go to some place that you already know they don't want to see that. They're not into that. Yeah. It doesn't mean that doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that you're going to miss out on.
Mean that the content is bad either. I always say that. I'm sure I missed a bunch of good stuff. Because I just for whatever reason I think shows is an investment. Shows end up being so long, especially CW. Look, Smallville will have like 26 episodes a season. That's just a commitment,
You're going to Smallville. That's like in the 90s.
Right.
That's a lot of stuff has changed since then.
Well, like, what about the CW shows?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Smallville's not on CW, but the new Superman show that's on there, it's like a family show. It's like a family drama. It's not all the flying around, and it's not really like a actual.
Yeah, no, that's I mean, that did look interesting. I like Superman. I have interest in Superman.
And Gotham, when that was on, that was a pretty decent show. I mean, that was on Fox, but it was.
It was a decent show, and it actually got my dad hooked, and he's not really into comic book stuff like that, so he was watching the Gotham show. So I'm actually curious to see what HBO Max does with the Gotham PD and having it a dark and grittier series, so they can take the gloves off. I think that'll be fun.
That sounds like it's perfect to be on HBO, man.
I agree. Yeah. And Jennifer Hall says, I think it's crazy how everyone said we're cutting cable because of the cost, and now we spend $80 plus monthly in streaming.
Different streaming services.
That's true.
I think it's because cable is stuck. You have to be in the house to watch it. Cable, like streaming, you can watch it on the plane. You can watch it.
I got Dish. I got Dish. And I can watch. Yeah, I got Dish. Yeah, I got a Dish app, so I can watch. I got access to live programming and my DVR on my phone or wherever I go.
Well, I'm saying like with Netflix, but they don't have all the shows you want. It's who has the best content. That's where people are spending their money, obviously. And then like, like you could download, like Netflix has a and I'm sure HBO and stuff has it too, but you can download the shows that you want to watch so you can watch it without Wi-Fi.
I like Prime, Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon Prime is dope.
And I don't, not even for the good shows like I can't remember what any of the shows are right now, but I like looking at the weird.
The Boys is on there.
Yes, The Boys. I like watching like
right.
Oh, that's a great cartoon.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like Amazon Prime is probably the worst of them all because I feel like, man, every time I scroll, for one, I always forget I got it, and then two, I'm like, nothing's on there. But The Boys did show me like, okay, Amazon got some stuff. I tried to watch Hannah. Hannah was cool because I watched the original, the movie back in the day. But I feel like when you scroll through there, I'm like, I don't see anything that pops out at me. But that's the cool thing when people recommend stuff. It's just that either the companies have to sell you by having advertising it, or your friends or whoever watch it. But people have interest. The biggest word that's important to me in life is interest, right? Interest would be the difference from me leaving a job to go to another job. Interest would be the reason for me to leave a woman to go to another woman. Interest is the reason for me to stop playing PlayStation and play cloud gaming. So you have to just fit into your interest, That's what it is, you know?
Absolutely. And Ricardo St. Jean, Sakwase, my bro, he said Flash is the best show on CW, but it's getting boring now. And eventually,
It is.
You know, most shows reach that.
Yeah.
It's the final season. They're trying to wrap everything up.
Yeah.
Like after the thing about CW shows is their best ones are the crossover events. Like when they have different Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, when they have all of them come together for their shows, it's pretty good. But everything else is this final season is horrible. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I've seen all these, I've seen every other episode. I have to finish it and hope that it gets better and
now,
it doesn't pull a Lost on me.
Now, hear me out. You see how you just explained that? That's how I feel when I don't have interest to watch a show somebody's recommending to me. I'm like, man, I really don't want to watch this first episode and be like, nah, I feel like I got to watch it all. So I feel like I just rather not watch it than I don't have to. Because somebody might be like, I love it. And I'll watch it be like, bro, this wasn't it. So I feel like if I didn't even have interest to watch it on my own, I don't know how much I could take somebody's recommendation if it's something I'm not interested in. Because then the feeling you just gave me from watching something you had interest in, that's what I don't want from something I didn't even have interest in the first place. You know, it's like a burden to watch a bad TV show versus you go watch one bad movie. It's like, all right, that movie sucked, but I'm free of it. Like, man, this show is not getting any better, but maybe the next episode is going to get better. Well, maybe the next episode, you're like, why am I doing this to myself? And then you don't have time for other stuff in your life for watching a bad show.
The show isn't, okay, let me clarify. The show isn't bad. It's just with, I can't remember the guy's name. He plays Ralph Dibny on the show. He said his whole cancel culture got him kicked off the show. And because he said something years ago, which said something racist or something stupid, which, yeah, you say something like that, then there should be some kind of disciplinary action done. But they took him off the show and they're still kind of working. Like, they didn't kill him off. They just take him off. He's not on. And they're working around as if he's still there. And that's what has the show, to me, just weird and like trying to work around a character who is kicked off for whatever reason. But everything else is good. It's just trying to bring in a character who was kicked off the show into current storylines. It just doesn't make sense.
They doing that on The Shy. Y'all watch The Shy?
I don't even know what that is.
No one watches The Shy. Are y'all serious?
It's like
I remember
Showtime.
Shy, the group back in the day.
No, it's a real. The Shy is a drama coming to life. Like what is it when you see someone going through life? Coming of age. Coming of age story.
2 seconds. I'll be right back.
And it's good. So one of the characters, I forgot his name right now, but he's one of the main characters, and he had like a sexual harassment charge or something. So they kicking him off the show, like with one of the actors on the show. So like the last season, you see it building up to him like getting kicked off the season. So it's interesting. But like, you know, that's what takes good creative writing.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, you know, your show is only how good your writers are.
Yeah. Jennifer Hall is real with this though about the Amazon thing. I remember having Amazon Prime. I didn't even realize I had Amazon Prime. I'm like, I got Amazon Prime exactly for what she's talking about. And then people was like, you do know you got like a video service with that too. I was like, you do? Mm-hmm. Like they advertise that bad. But now that it's all out there, I just feel like maybe I need to look in there. I haven't looked in there in a long time. I think my problem with Amazon is whenever I want to watch a movie, I think of going to Netflix to see if it's an older movie, right? To see if it's on Netflix. And then if I can't find it, I was like, oh yeah, I do got Amazon Prime. And 10 times out of 10 is never on Amazon Prime. I'm like, what? Do they even get movies, man? Like,
the best thing about Amazon is I guess you would call them low budget movies that they have. Because yeah, they may not look good, but if you watch it and actually give them a chance, the stories are pretty.
Right.
It's actually decent stories in some of the movies. It's like, yeah, they have a dinosaur movie where it looks like stick figures or something from like the 1940s. CGI, but it's if you can watch Sharknado, then you can watch a 6 foot tall
that's what I was gonna say. It sounds like it's like you explain it like sci-fi. Like like sci-fi has some good movies, but the CG and stuff, special effects isn't gonna be up to par. But you already knew that before you got into it, you know?
Yeah. And the stories are I couldn't get through Sharknado. That was something that we watched with my mom, or that was like our yearly thing, and I never got into it. I would just watch it because of her and something we would talk about, but I lost my thought. I'm still hungry. This food is sitting right here. Oh man.
And Jennifer Hall asked, you guys know how to check on Google what shows, movies are what platforms? Absolutely. You just put in the show, it shows you where it's streaming. And then Big Mike says, when
wait, we gotta pause and take a second for that because Tony didn't know that. So Tony, next time you just go to Google.
What to find out what show is on what?
Yeah.
Okay, wait, you didn't know that?
No.
What do you mean?
He said every time he try to find an old movie, he goes to Amazon Prime and tries to find it there.
Oh yeah. Whenever I'm like we'll just be like, oh, let's watch, I don't know, a random old movie. I always think to go to Netflix. Like, oh, let's see if Netflix got it. And Netflix don't have it. And it's like, all right, let me go to Amazon Prime. And Amazon Prime usually never has it. But yeah, I didn't know that. So you could just go to Google to find out what service has it.
Well, don't forget, YouTube always has it. You can rent it for what, $2, something like that.
Yeah, I got allegedly I got my own means to watch whatever I need to watch.
Of course, allegedly, and we'll leave it there. And Big Mike says when Lord of the Rings starts on Amazon, we go to the next level. Even though Big Mike has yet to see Lord.
I know. Why is he even talking? I don't want to hear that coming from him.
Thank you. Exactly. I've been watching Hulu movies too. I've been sleeping on them. I don't have Hulu yet.
Have Hulu.
So we'll see. We have a lot of recommendations from Nate and Jennifer, so we'll see. And of course, The Boys on Amazon Prime, The Boys, Invincible, and Them. And me personally, my favorite content on Amazon Prime is probably the Hugh Hefner bio series, in addition to the Jack Ryan TV show with John Krasinski, who is Jim from The Office.
What is the Hugh Hefner show called?
American Playboy.
Okay. Have you seen Without Remorse on?
And again, that is actually our last topic. Did anyone see No Remorse yesterday or today?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike was thinking about.
So Nate, did you see it?
No. I was just asking because I just put on Amazon Prime because I knew there was a show that I wanted to ask you guys about.
Without giving any spoilers, when you go to Amazon, it's like 2.5 stars or something. Don't listen to it.
Yeah, definitely don't listen to that. That's
it went up
misleading.
By the time we finished watching it was up to 3 stars. But
so it's good. So you're saying it's good?
Well, again, it's a genre piece. So as I'm sure everyone knows from being in the gaming community, Tom Clancy has his own genre. He has his own type of story, similar to John Grisham novels with the attorney, type of satire, things like that. So there are things that you can definitely see coming because it's Tom Clancy. You can be like, oh, this is definitely what it is, but it doesn't mean that it's not good. I would give it a 4 out of 5, respectfully.
4 out of 5. Well, that's not bad.
Maybe a 3.5.
And they also open the door for a potential sequel as well, which I appreciate as well. So you can go different. This becoming its own franchise potentially, which I think is great.
I think it's kind of like Godzilla versus
King Kong.
Can I say my point? So the action scenes were great. The storyline was a little cheesy. Like it was nothing I saw that I haven't seen before.
Is this a show or a movie?
Movie.
Okay, movie.
So like it was kind of predictable for me. I like watching movies where I can't really figure out the storyline, but it was very like you've seen the story before.
Yeah, but like how? How old are you?
I was born in the 90s. I'm 29.
She's 29.
That's good enough. That's good enough. Born in the 90s. So you, I say that because to say it like this, I'm I don't know, 40. Am I 40 yet, lady? I don't know, close to it. But after a while, when you're watching movies, you're watching shows, you just gonna know, because they're gonna repeat the same things over and over and over again. It's just a matter of, do you like how it's repeated this time? Do you like, if you know how the end's gonna be?
I'm gonna say the average person probably wouldn't know how the story's gonna be, how it's gonna end,
unless you read the book.
Like the average person. But it wasn't like, oh my god, like there was no shocking moments for me. And I think that Michael B. Jordan did a really good job acting. It was. I think that it was a solid movie. I didn't feel like I wasted my time. It was interesting to watch, but the storyline didn't have as much depth to me. It reminded me of what's his name? The guy with John Wick.
John Wick, awesome.
With the dog. I still need to see the second one.
But listen,
Still need to see the third one.
John Wick to me was way better. So the whole time I'm watching it, I'm comparing it to John Wick, and I'm like,
well, that was the problem.
That's the problem. They're not the same thing.
It was like John Wick in the Army or the Navy SEAL.
So, and here we go. And that's why when I'm watching a TV show, I'm comparing it to the movies in my head, and that's the problem. You know, I gotta stop. I gotta separate that. Okay, just because it's a superhero movie or superhero TV show, it's not gonna fulfill that void. Again, remember, I'm more of I'll call myself a simpleton, right? I sit in the movies and I just want to eat my popcorn and see explosions and stuff. But on the TV shows, it's more depth. Like Mike said, he's like, no, the shows on Netflix, they were so deep. The storytelling was great. They didn't need the big blockbuster magic and all that stuff, right? The movie magic. So, you know, that's kind of I'm on the opposite. I want this, but I know they're gonna give me that, and that's my interest is this, you know. So it's kind of like I can't go into watching these shows wanting it to be my interest. Same thing as you're watching the show thinking of John Wick, and it's like you just ruined it for yourself. So for me,
no. I think you're misunderstanding and misinterpreting. Maybe I need to use different words. What I'm saying is, I did not go into this movie with any expectations because I don't watch the trailers. All I knew was Michael B. Jordan was in it. That's it. That's literally the extent.
You said you was comparing it to John Wick
while she was watching it,
right?
Like I was like, this is the same storyline. So I'm like,
no,
yes.
You said, but John Wick was way better. That's a comparison. You said, but John Wick was way better. So as you're watching it, and you're thinking of John Wick and you're watching this.
No. At the end, I was like, while I was watching, I was like, oh, let me figure out in my head. Because, you know, I'm trying to figure out where the storyline is going. And I'm like, it's a mix of John Wick it's a mix of a couple of movies. But that's the one that stood out to me. Like, oh, I don't want to give it away. But what I'm saying is the way John Wick was like a 5 to me. This was a 3.5 to me. I just needed more. There was a lot of action in it, but I feel like if they sped up a movie that should have been a series for me.
Right.
I think I would appreciate it more if it was a series instead of just a movie.
And see, this is, I feel like where we're going, because I feel like there's going to be a divide in content because of social media and because people watching things on YouTube, our attention spans are changing. So some people might actually prefer a series format as opposed to a film format.
Yeah, like I needed more backstory. I needed more time developing developing feelings for certain characters that were introduced. I feel like characters were introduced and then it was done. Like I need more. I feel like it would have took it to maybe it has potential of being a 5 if it was more of a backstory.
If you had what do you like more, movies or TV shows?
I don't really have a preference. It just depends on the content. But I feel like for the story that they were telling with that show, or that movie, it should have been a show. Like they sped through so much.
Right.
and they didn't have to because they
Tom Clancy.
The show. Yeah, maybe I don't like Tom. Maybe I just don't like Tom Clancy. But the action was good. Like, you know, it was like I said, a 3.5.
All right.
I have one quick question, or I guess suggestion of a movie for you guys to watch. It's called The Map of Tiny Perfect Things. It's not an action movie. It's like a like a modern day.
Is this a love story?
What's that?
Is it a love story?
Yes, kind of, and
like,
mystery.
Oh,
and it's like Groundhog's Day.
Oh, I see.
Another one of those.
But I don't remember if I saw it with my wife or not. But I know I saw it. It was pretty good. And I don't know how to talk about it without giving
and
much away about it. But
it is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that's what made me. That's how I saw it.
I'm gonna watch the trailer. I just pulled up the trailer. I'll watch it.
Watch the trailer. Dude, you're not gonna. The trailer is not gonna make you want to watch it.
Well, here's the cool thing. I would so much watch a movie that somebody recommend before I watch a show, because I could say, you know what? Somebody told me about this movie. They said it was really good. I say that to my wife a lot. Hey, let's check out this movie. Somebody said it was really good. Let's watch it and not even watch a trailer. Or I'll watch a trailer. She says she doesn't want to watch a trailer, and we watch the movie and be like,
oh, she's still in here.
It was good or it wasn't good. But a TV show is hard for you to convince me to watch a TV show, you know. But a movie, yeah, I mean.
I don't know what you're talking about. It was with you. You fell asleep.
Yeah, I know what that be like.
Knocked out right after the
right after the opening scene. Absolutely.
We watched what's the movie called? I actually watched the other night, The Witches. Did you guys see that?
With Anne Hathaway?
Yes.
I think it's something different. Then no.
Yeah. Anne Hathaway's in it.
I could know that. Because that's like a remake of like The Witches of Eastwick or whatever, right?
It was good.
Based closer to the book.
Yeah, it was more like.
Okay. Yeah, no, I haven't, because the book.
Rock narrates it. It's pretty good.
Does he?
Mm-hmm.
Now I gotta watch it. Now.
Who narrates it?
The Rock.
No, Chris Rock.
Oh, Chris Rock.
Chris Rock. Yeah.
He's like, never mind.
The brother he needs work too. If I'll watch it.
He got Spiral coming out this month. I think the 16th.
Spiral, like the
new Saw movie. He's directing and starring in the new Saw movie.
Really? Isn't Samuel L. Jackson as well?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
What is the Book of Saw? Something like that?
Yeah. Yep. The Book of Saw, Spiral. Yeah, they're branching out.
You want to play a game?
Mm-hmm. Wait, what is it called?
It's called
Can you spell
Spiral.
Spiral. So
Spiral. Spiral.
Oh, okay.
He's getting into horror.
Yeah. Yeah, it says directed by Chris Rock.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I gotta get going.
You gotta eat your food.
Absolutely.
I do. I'm starting to like panic and get really anxious. I'm so hungry right now.
All right.
You know, man, I had gastric bypass. I think I was talking to you guys about it when you were just doing the audio podcast, but I had the gastric bypass, and since then I don't eat. Like, not my blood pressure, but my whole mind just goes wobbly, and I gotta eat. But thanks for having me on. I love you guys' show. Yeah.
There we go. There we go. But yes, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Ricardo and Jennifer and Big Mike and Mr. Urban World, of course, in the comments. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Definitely.
Peace out.
go. Ah!